Yahoo.com, Yahoo Sports. Obviously, a big time in the world of sports this week. Masters done, baseball intensifying, NHL, NBA playoffs moving on, NFL mobile draft, first time out of New York for a while. It's going to happen for a long time, finishing the Boston Marathon. We talk about a $750 billion business of sports. It is understated. It's more like $1 trillion, and it rises every week, and media is so important in it. We have a kid on the block that's not really a new kid, but a respected kid on the block, Cynopsis Media, which is basically one of the most informative sites out there, in addition to us on Yahoo Sports, obviously, and Yahoo Finance. But the guy who is the director of sports content, Chris Pursell, has been involved in this for a long time. Really happy to have him on the show. Talk about the business of sports, one of the best guys in the world to talk about that today and in the future. How's that for an intro? You good?
I thought that was perfect. Yeah, love it.
Good. No, I'm glad.
I can't imagine any better way to put it.
Good to have you on.
It's an honor to be.
Chris, tell our folks a little bit about how you got to where you are at Cynopsis Media and kind of your career, and then a little bit about the company and about the entity.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. My background is I've been covering the television business for a while, from the days of Variety and Television Week / electronic media, covering sports there. And at one point, I had a meeting with a woman who Cynthia Turner, who launched Cynopsis, which covers the daily grind of what's going on behind the scenes for the television business. And I approached her and let her know that there was a lack of certain kinds of information that were being presented on a daily basis for the sports industry. And we started talking, and we ended up launching Cynopsis Sports. And it very quickly became the most widely circulated sports business publication in the world. And from the success of that, we started spinning off, launching summits. We've launched our awards, which were just held last week. And so it's been a great ride, and certainly enjoying just how far we've come.
Yeah, and frankly, it is, again, a very unique insight in the sports business space. Give me your perception of, obviously, a no-brainer would be how important the media is to the business of sports. We know that. But can we quantify the ultimate percentages? Is there any way to measure how important the media rights, media distribution, local, national, as it relates to team values and all? If 100% of the pie includes everything, what percent do you think is directly or indirectly influenced by the media world?
Boy, that's a question we could talk hours about. There's all kinds of different approaches, all kinds of different percentages that people have been laying out there. I will say that in a TiVo world where live is as important as it could possibly get, given all the competition, the value of sports only continues to grow. As you've seen, competitors from ESPN, NBC, Fox Sports. Now you have Snapchat and YouTube getting in on the action. Just to be able to have that opportunity to present a live event to an audience with a built-in fan base is just invaluable, not only to the platform, but to the sponsors as well.
Chris Pursell, Director of Sports Content for Cynopsis, Sports Cynopsis publication. The blurring of traditional television media and all forms of media, mobile, new media, and otherwise, is certainly something that is now a given. It's not a prediction, it's a given. How do you think the industry best deals with the vagaries of this evolution, contractually, economically, making business deals? It's not easy. How does it get done?
I think they're still figuring that out, to be honest. Some people far more successful than others, but just the opportunity to be there at any time, on demand, from wherever a fan is located, is to have that kind of chance to go out to the audiences and reach consumers. They're embracing it, and it's been a tough track for some. Clearly, there've been some bigger successes and failures and whatnot. But I think that you're only going to see the digital rights only get more and more valuable. ESPN kicked it off a while ago when they first grabbed the NBA. digital rights, and I think that helped launch ESPN3, Watch ESPN, and all of those other platforms. And everyone else kind of picked up that ball and kept running with it. And now as these new entities start coming into play as well, you're only going to see more and more people get feisty trying to grab a piece of it.
Chris Pursell, does the new industry or the new entities, do they get more, as you call it, feisty and entrepreneurial, the Snapchat world of making sure that everybody can see live games, in some cases out from under the rights holders, or do the rights holders, the big boys like the NBCs and the ESPNs, continue their vertical integration and domination? NBC at the Olympics, good example. CBS and Turner, March Madness, good example. Or is it a combination of both?
Well, you're seeing them play around in that field right now. I mean, the big entities are going to continue to dominate. They have the money, they have the reach, they have the power and scope, as well as the sponsors to come in and continue to distribute these games to as many possible people as they can. But you'll see last week Univision just did a deal with Snapchat for the U.S.-Mexico national team soccer game. And then, of course, the NFL now spinning off one game that'll go to a digital platform exclusively. So they're playing it. They're playing in the waters, and they really want to see what's going to happen. I don't think they're quite sure yet what to make of some of these guys.
The success, your advice, of this world, is it the best entrepreneurs who can be most diverse to most people? Is it people who can anticipate trends best? Is it those who are loaded with capital who can afford to make mistakes? Is it a combination of that?
That's the $1 trillion question right there.
Yeah.
The different they're all taking different approaches and watching each other very intensely to see what is and isn't working. I think that it's look how quickly Snapchat's come up, and now they have rights, and now they're partnering with some of the media organizations. And look at there were multiple reports about them being interested in actually starting to showcase games and sports shows and so forth. So once you see a platform like that start to rise up, they do become a player. And I think that from a traditional media world, you'll see that more and more people will probably want to start casting their lines in those directions to see what they can get out of it.
A couple more issues. Chris Pursell, Director of Sports Content, Cynopsis Sports. When you took a look at the kind of crystal ball of how rights are bid in the future, and your crystal ball is not tarnished, it's as good as anybody else's in this context, do you see next mega round of negotiations, let's assume NFL way down the road, 5, 6, 7 years, do they deal with the traditionals but also ask not only the DirecTVs and the Dishes but also the Snapchats and the Yahoos and the Googles and others to be involved all the way across the board, or do they kind of separate the rights and slice them and dice them and try to get as much money as they can that way? What's your take on it?
I don't think they're ever going to be leaving. We'll just use the NFL for an example. I don't think they'll never leave ESPN. They'll never leave NBC, CBS, and Fox. That's their bread and butter. It reaches the most fans, and instead of having one particular person only watching one team, it helps broaden the base. But I think that you will definitely be seeing a YouTube, a Snapchat, and so forth involved in some capacity when it comes to some of these rights auctions, if you will, and it wouldn't surprise me in 5-6 years that we start seeing some games promoted and delivered exclusively on some of these platforms.
Final issue: promote the publication, promote the mid-June event, promote me being involved in it. That's the condition of me putting here. No, go ahead. Tell us about the next couple of months. Sounds exciting.
Well, we just finished up our awards in which we were paying tribute to the best of sports from 2014, from marketing to digital to radio to television, honoring some of the best broadcast campaigns and so forth. And we had a completely full house, sold out very quickly. We had a lot of great names there. We also paid tribute to some of the greats in the industry, be it Gary Bettman, be it CBS Sports Chairman Sean McManus. We did a tribute to Gatorade, honoring 50 years of some of their just legendary commercials, as well as Univision for their work on the World Cup. And basically, events like that help drive a community feeling, and that's, I think, is one of the big reasons we've been so successful. Excuse me. Now, of course, in June, we have our annual summit, of which you are a part of, and very happy that you agreed to do that. And now, instead of awarding it, we'll be dissecting it, and we'll be analyzing what is to come, these very questions you've been asking me today, and looking at how video is building brands, how you reach the millennials, what are some of the ways that sponsors in sports are now reaching out and embracing the consumer. So it's our biggest event of the year. Frankly, it takes place in New York on June 16th, and we're very excited about it.
And I can't wait. Chris Pursell, Director of Sports Content, Cynopsis Sports, going from awarding to dissecting, implementing, and analyzing. I can't wait for that. Rick Horrow, Sports Professor, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Sports. Be back in a few minutes.